Yes, call your friends, call your neighbors, and tell them it's Mad, Mad Monk. Tonight, more serious note, more serious night, for Sabbath night. If you remember last week, I was talking to you about no one can prophesy when Jesus will return. And I said, if you don't believe in the rapture, then maybe you can prophesy when the tribulations will start. I have a young man who's found some things out. I told you once about getting on my phone and finding and listening to a voice in a blank line telling me the government loves me, the government cares for me, the government knows what's best for me. When I hit O for the operator, I asked her, did she hear the voice in the background? I heard a mechanical click, the voice stopped, and the operator said, no sir, I don't hear a thing. That's interesting that under law, propaganda through subliminal suggestions is legal. Selling a product is not. It's also interesting that the FCC controls the phone companies, the TV companies, pretty much every means of communication except for one. That's right, URTV. URTV is true freedom of the press, freedom of speech, and you're about to lose it. That's right, you're about to lose it, and you're sure false. You have a county meeting coming up Tuesday, and it's time for you to get up off your teacher and go tell them that you want to keep public access. Now, I have a message for the county. I can't attend the meetings right now because I tech shows on Tuesdays. But if I'm not teching live shows, I will be at those meetings. But also this, county, you people still have the channel access. Just because this nonprofit loses funding or dies because of lack of funding doesn't mean that public access ends. That's right, county commissioners, you still have an obligation legally to make sure that Channel 20 has programming on the air. Now, without the continuation, I'm going to switch over to my guest and let him tell you some things that he's found out.
Hi, how are you doing this evening? My name is Joel. I come to speak with you about the HR 3200 bill that was passed 6 months after Obama came into office. Have you heard about this bill yet?
The medical bill?
Yeah, the medical bill. Healthcare Revised 3200. Do you know what it states in it?
Yeah, I know it has over 1,000 pages, so I haven't had a chance to read.
Yeah, the devil does hide things in deep in the back.
Oh, yeah.
By 2013, in order for us to be seen at the hospital or to join, what is it? It's over there on the computer. Could you put that down for people to see, please?
Yeah, let me go real quick to the video, and then we'll go right back to you so I can switch out the cameras. We'll give them some music for a second.
I find your embrace. You set a garland of grace. And when I lift my hands, you fill me with more. Oh, I love to live in the house of the Lord.
back on the air with you. In March 23rd, 2013, healthcare as you know it has officially changed. Yes, we know that the doctors did take an oath, no matter if you could pay them or not, they are to save your life and help you at any and all cost. Now, our Obama healthcare state's different now. On a certain day, you're going to have to join the National Medical Device Registry. Now, this is key right here. It's your RFD, stands for Radio Frequency Identification. You have to allow them to put a GPS device under your skin before they can even medically treat you. In this same healthcare bill, it states December 2012 for newborn babies, no matter if they're born with a defect and about ready to die in front of your and a doctor's face, they are not allowed to help your baby whatsoever unless first they are able to put a RFID chip under your skin. Then after them trying to play God, they will attempt to save your baby's life. That's right, attempt to play God. Now, also know that if you choose to check it out, you'd be able to go to jessewoodrow.com and get into the segment where he's referring to the RFID chip company buying out a company called stillvault.com, letting you know that now this chip also contains your financial records. And you can also check this out on your own if you choose so. 04 Bush passes to the FDA the RFID chip, also known as VeriChip, while waiting on approval for the FDA, allowing him to chip everyone. He makes 05, he passes it to put strips in your license, RF strips in your license, to bring in the technologies to be able to read the chip for a positive ID.
Well, didn't you tell me that one of the credit card companies is already using it?
Am I even allowed to say that credit card?
No, not the credit card company, but you can talk about the fact that they
Okay,
are.
and another way to, this chip, I would like you to know, this chip is already, it has GPS, your financial, your medical, your driver's license, your social security card bundled up in a package as small as a piece of a grain of rice. In order, while Bush in 04 hands this chip to FDA, while he's waiting on FDA approval, he needs to bring in the technology to be able to read this chip in stores, to be able to pay for your positive ID for your license, your social security, and GPS it has in it.
Okay, I'm going to widen this up so we can both get in the shot.
And this chip's on air right now where people can see it.
Oh, that is a small chip.
It is small as a piece of grain of rice. This right here, it has a antenna coil. And remember when Bush did away with the rabbit ear TVs? He felt Americans were too good for rabbit ears. He needed everybody to upgrade to HD. And if you could not afford one, the government will be happy to provide one for you.
Yeah, I remember when all that came out.
Did you know I did some research on this chip? It operates off of UHF waves. Huh, that's crazy. Bush in 04 says here, FDA approved this. Then all of a sudden to get in the machines to the police cars and your merchants, your Walmart, even.
Yeah, in fact, I've been hearing that some of the companies are already putting chips in the merchandise.
Oh, can I say something about that? If you ever read Revelations in the Bible.
Oh, yeah.
It says right here, Revelations 13:17, and that no man might buy or sell, say he that had the mark or the name of the beast or the number of his name, which we all know, 666. Now, it's crazy right here that it says beast. Have you ever wondered that?
Yeah.
Did you know that in Arizona it has a machine that counts people over 600 times per second that has a chip in them? Did you know what they call that machine? The
No.
beast.
Well, I knew back in the 80s there's also a computer located in Seattle, Washington, which is called the Beast.
Oh, really?
Which all its job is to do is to keep an eye on all American citizens.
With the chip in them.
Well, this was prior to chip. This was back in the 80s. So they were monitoring us and everything we buy since the 80s. In fact, during the 90s, I was watching a program about a company. Now, this is not a government. This is a corporation that actually monitors every single hit on the internet. So no matter where you go, this company knows and monitors everything. and it's very feasible to do it. I mean, it's all computer linked. All you need is the software. It's like the Obama phone. You know, the federal government didn't give us a free phone. There's
No.
there's always a hidden purpose, and that's so that they can track us. Then they take that information, along with all the information they're getting at AHOPE. An example, like at AHOPE now, if you go in there for services, you not only got to give them your name, but you got to tell them whether you've been camping, whether you got a place, whether you're couch surfing. You got to give them your age. So see, they can build this big database, so they know exactly what's there as far as homeless and where they're at, and they'll know their patterns.
You know, did you know that Josh? Do you think you could pull that up? Masons. Did you know that somewhere up north, while he looks for the information, Masons came into this town and held a free fair and free food for your kids, and we will give you a $5 gift certificate if you let us retina scan your kid, ask you information, and then allow us to put a chip in your kid. And am I allowed to say other people's websites on this?
If they're commercial websites, no. If they sell a product,
I don't believe he.
Hold on, let me kill the sound real quick. My apologies. I'll give you music for a second. Okay, we can't really tell you what site it's on because of the, it might be advertising, but let's just say it's a common place a lot of people see videos at, and we're going to try and pull it up. Huh?
Oh, no, take that out.
Oh.
Pull up the video. Pull up the video.
We'll go ahead and do that.
And then we can even take the TV off so we can get it docked up so nothing's advertising nothing.
Let's see, I want to go to...
How do you feel about that? That you have to have a RFID chip inside you, Chris, to go to the hospital?
I don't like it. In fact, I just had surgery done a couple of years ago at the VA. And I always kind of wonder, could they, put a chip in me? I mean, like you said, it's the size of a grain of rice. But the main key issue is, though, it's got to be, for it to be the mark of the beast, it'll have to be by choice.
Oh, the scriptures, hang on to the scriptures. The scriptures say that in the scriptures in Revelations, it talks about some of you will be put in jail for 10 days.
Yeah.
But have faith. On the 10th day, you'll go to heaven. Meaning on the 10th day, that they are going to kill you. That's what Revelations calls. Some of you will be put in prison. Now, do you remember World War II? With the Nazi regime, extermination, blonde hair. Now just imagine that in a whole new light. At the end, it says, and that no man might buy or sell or save that he had the mark.
Yeah.
Now imagine a new world that and it's not just us being chipped. Globally right now, if anyone chooses to check out, Israel's already chipped, India 1.2 billion people, backwoods it all day. But India's letting you know they're assigning a unique 12-digit code and putting it in this RFID in 1.2 million people. 1.2 billion people. They've set off on a mission.
Well,
China's chipping their people as well. Now you got to know that this has to do, we're just like the certain bank cards. Did you find it, brother? Okay, as soon as you find it, let us know. Did you know that there's bank cards that you can just tap instead of sliding and just go?
Yeah.
Did you know that? Well, this technology is also embedded in the RFID chip, which you just seen on the internet. They bought out stillvault.com, which has to do with financial records, and embedded into this chip. Remember 04 Bush sends it to the FDA while waiting approval. He knows that it was going to be the one global currency. God even says, I will put it in their hearts. And you got to think when the end time, and it's, just pacify me for a second. Let's assume that we are in Revelations in the Mark of the Beast era. Now, you could check out videos and see someone actually getting this chip put in them. John the Revelator, who wrote Revelations, seen this back then happening now. He's seen a guy getting marked and it leaving an actual physical mark on his body. Now, he also seen the machine that you've even said there's one of the beasts. Now the beast is counting the people with the chips in them over 600 times per second. There's
When you also think about the fact that our great Supreme Court has made corporations a living entity by giving them the same constitutional rights as a human being has. Again, going back to the beast can be AI. Artificial intelligence is a very, very possible probability.
What he tells us right here is, what you know is the chip contains financial records. Now, if anyone wants to check the chip out themselves, bought out Still Vault. That has to do with your financial records. It embedded it into this small chip that people seen. Not only us, people are going to be blinded until the day comes where a guy has to go take his 3-year-old daughter that just fell and majorly injured herself and needs imminent health care right then and there, a doctor. But the doctor's going to say, hey, hang on. First, you have to allow me to put this chip in your child. Then I can save your child. Imagine people that are blind and don't even know what the healthcare bill states when they go to the hospital. Now remember, everybody around the globe right now is getting chipped. We're the last. The sun rises in the east, it sets in the west. We are going to be the last ones. And Pentagon is already doing escape evacuations in case of mass civil unrest, meaning us literally physically going to the Pentagon. Now, they know we're not a Cairo. Do you remember when, you know how you put gas in a glass bottle with a rag, throw it?
Yeah.
Cairo's, the protesters, they started doing that to them. They didn't even know how to finally they learned how to replicate it, then they started doing it. The government knows we're no Cairo. We already have guns. It is a right. If you're not a felon, you can have a gun. We know how to put gas, we know how to siphon gas out of a car straight into a bottle. We're no Cairo. The government knows this. This is why it is going to, the sun rises in the east, sets in the west. There is going to be a lot of people going against the government pretty soon. And the date, March 23rd, 2013, states for adults in the healthcare bill, you have to join the National Device Registry. It holds your financials in it. GPS, positive ID, it holds your license, everything. Are we allowed to say store names, right?
No.
Okay, well, there's a store that a lot of people like going to.
Yeah.
Okay? They are putting RFI strips just like in your ID. It emits a radio frequency, letting the cop with the machine, no longer does he have to go to the car. He gets your license, has a machine, goes radio frequency, positive ID.
Yeah.
Just like the chip, when the healthcare it is for it, it's going to be positive ID. They know exactly where you're at. This clothing store puts RF strips not just on a package, but inside the actual pants, inside the actual underwear. They treat us like inventory now. Have you ever been incarcerated?
Oh, yeah.
Have you ever, remember when it come by inventory? It wasn't count. To them, we are inventory.
Yeah.
Okay? Am I allowed to quote someone out of their mouth?
Yeah.
A president?
Yeah.
Okay. Obama says this at the State of the Union, the last one. Quote, we cannot win the future with a government of the past. We live and do business in the information age, unquote.
Oh, I'm glad you read that because it reminds me I've got a piece of paper I'm supposed to read.
Awesome, brother. Have at it.
This has to do with the fact that not only do they want to chip us, they want to drug us. See, the government don't mind drugging you.
Oh,
they just don't want you getting high.
It's ironic you said that. Inside the chip, there's some kind of chemical or maybe even virus that I just learned it could be, that if you attempt to take this chip out and the capsule's open, it will contaminate your body and kill the individual. Why would our same government that is sworn to love and protect us?
You're looking at a government that also had passed a law, again, now Bush initiated it and Obama signed it, that if you're off American soil and they think you're a terrorist, that they can shoot you without no due process.
And
The McDowell newsletter to the editor replies, City drops level of fluoride by Mike Connolly, 2/18/2011. Thank you for the news that the City of Marion has decided to save some tax monies and not poison us quite as much by putting less fluoride in the drinking water. While Mr. Connolly was quick to point out the many supporters of this process in 2003, when Marion planned our present fluoridation practice, he has failed miserably in providing up-to-date information regarding the many adverse health effects attributed to fluoride. The City of Marion would serve us better and save far more tax money by halting fluoridation of drinking water altogether, as many other cities and entire countries are now doing. The NC State Health Department and likewise the City of Marion has failed to provide public notification regarding use of fluoridated water in infant foods and in formulas, despite CDC notification of the increased risk of fluorosis from infant formula reconstituted with fluoridated water. Fluorosis is only the visible damage from fluoride and does not consider damage on cellular levels. Parents have also not been warned about the link between fluoride in drinking water and sarcoma, bone cancer in young boys. This failure to warn and continued support of fluoride is not difficult to understand, as what bureaucracy or even news media would be willing to admit that they had encouraged such a public health disaster. Lawsuits by outraged parents have already begun. Other fluoride studies from 2010 alone have shown fluoride lowers IQs in children. Fluoride compromises brain function. I read an article by a doctor years ago that talked about how it affects the frontal lobe, which is your seat of higher learning and where your conscience resides. Maybe that's why we have so many sociopaths.
And they're trying to deteriorate that, knowing it. Wow.
CDC reports 41% of 12 to 15-year-olds have dental fluorosis. Fluoride decreases bone strength. Fluoride increases serum lead concentrations. Fluoride disrupts cardiac functions. Fluoride as a pro-inflammatory factor. If we are to reduce health costs, we must stop the chemical poisoning that causes the vast majority of chronic illness and disability. An elimination of fluoride from our drinking water should be an easy first attempt at health precautions. Given the enormous amount of scientific data available that shows adverse effects from fluoride, it is nothing short of premeditated random homicide to continue fluoridation, when it's known that citizens will die from its use, just not specifically which one. Sincerely, Elizabeth O'Nan, Director of Protect All Children's Environment. You know, this is a country that allowed syphilis to go unchecked in the black society back, I think, in the 40s or 50s, just so they could see what the end result would be. And for anyone to think that our country wouldn't do it with fluoride, I mean...
Oh, there's something deeper than that. Did you know that CIA finally declassified the document stating it, yes, hi, we're the CIA, and we put crack cocaine in the projects.
Oh, yeah.
Now, you got to think about this from
Think about the timing.
two different aspects now. Not only are they putting crack into the black projects, knowing that the black man would sell it to their people to bring them down as in physical as the actual crack smokers, we get a 2-for-1 special. We get to come in and arrest them as well for selling crack cocaine.
And remember the timing of when that happened. The timing when that happened was during the guns for cocaine.
Oh yeah,
Contra
I remember
controversy.
that.
Our government is for the rich, of the rich, and will always be for the rich. It's like if they came out with a pill right now that would increase your life expectancy to 250 years. Now that's...
I don't believe they could because the scripture tells me different.
But let's say they did. Would they give it to the common man? No. Because you would end up with an overpopulation that they couldn't control. But now would they give it to the super rich? Sure. Why do you think there's all this medical advancements? It's not for the average it's for the worker to keep them working. When I was growing up as a kid, my dad could retire at 55. I'm now 55. Can I retire?
No.
Now I got to wait till 72. And then when I get to 72, how old will I have to wait again? Because they may raise it again.
just imagine a world that's here, and as soon as America finds out as a mass, it's where you can't buy, sell, or trade anything, nor can you have a job if you do not take a RFID chip, because that is the new money. It's all electronical now. If someone was to research it, they could just get on internet and just tap in one global currency or one global government. That's all they would have to do.
Yeah.
And they could find out that the one global government it speaks of is at hand, and the one global currency is here, and it's a RFID chip. They could even get on the internet and type in whatever to come up, and you could see a video of someone getting the chip placed in them. It leaves a mark, and the beast, the machine that counts the people with a chip, I imagine how we met. I was out here telling people on the streets, we met 2 government officials that work for the state of North Carolina. They've been out drinking, having a good time. They're two dudes, you know, quote unquote buddies. One could not believe what I was telling him. We shook hands and he would not let go. He scrolls harder and harder, and he told me that he knows what's going on. He knows scriptures, and he knows that this is the mark of the beast that it states of. A government official has told me this. A Christian that isn't, and it is not a process unless everyone around the world right now bow down and confess to the true God.
Well, see,
Will
everything
any
you
of this
say,
stop?
everything you're saying is all confirmation to what I've been saying on this show for 3 years. The fact that we are in the end times, that that it's not 15 or 20 or 30 years away. It's not even 10 years away. And if we go by the fact that we are going to be required to have a chip by 2013,
to buy, sell, or trade.
Okay. Now, if you go with what I also taught, which is most people think that the 4 horsemen is during the time of the tribulation period, but it's not. The 4 horsemen are actually heralds into the tribulation period. As I said, if you look at Bush Senior, the first Bush, Bush Senior, as the white horse, given the power to go what? To wage war, and given what? The bow and the arrow. And when you look at our primary defensive weapon was called what? The bow and arrow.
Yeah, Indians.
If you look at the second horse, which is there's the white horse. The white horse. Then there's the red horse. All right. There again, we look at Bush Jr., who did what? Well, the red horse again goes to war.
Well, I know what he did. He passed the chip to the FDA to prove so he could put a GPS under everybody's skin to know where they're at.
Now, if you look at the third horse, which is the black horse, which when I told this to the city council, I had a police officer friend that was thinking I was going to say Obama, and which I'm sorry is true, because if you look at what the black horse entails, which is financial destruction. I mean, it talks about a day's wage for a meal, et cetera, et cetera. And if you look at the economy, I went to the store today to buy a pack of tobacco. It went from $3.65 for the type of rolling tobacco I buy to $4.30.
Not only that, look at gas. Look at gas, 20 cents. One gas station I walk by every day, it shot up 20. I went home last night. I got up and left, started walking. 20 cents overnight it went up.
We're talking at over $100 a barrel. We're also looking at a society and a world that's looking for a major Messiah. Look at Obama. Look at the way the people that were voting for him and following him, and how it was compared to how it was almost compared to a religious revival in getting him in office. And there's still that attitude that he's going to be the Messiah. Now, I've been asked many times when Bush and all them were in office whether or not I believed that when Bush was in office, whether I believed he was the Antichrist. And I said, no, he's not the Antichrist spoken of in Revelations, because he's born in America.
The Antichrist is going to be the one. Now, John, like, he's seen the mark, he's seen physically. I believe this is literal. Hey, brother, even preachers will not, preachers will tell you that he could not see 666 on people's forehead. One told me that I cannot imagine everyone walking around with 666 on their forehead. All of you preachers out there listening that says that, I have this for you. It's called invisible ink, okay? It was invented in the late 30s when the CIA, the same people we just talked about, declassifying the documents, which you can check out if you so choose to, they put crack in the projects. They requested for invisible ink as soon as they heard about it. The same people, the same government that wants you to take the mark of the beast chip to buy, sell, or trade. Why are they asking for an invisible ink? pastors that tell you, I cannot see people walking around with 666. Okay, they can't see them because they don't have a black strobe light or whatever the police are going to have to see the 666 on their forehead.
Well,
It's all scripture.
Well,
It's all scripture.
And an interesting book.
Technology's here.
And an interesting book, because if you look at how many people are now getting tattoos and are proud to display them. I once read a book called 666, and it talked about a base if you could either have, it's either on your right hand or your forehead. But you were also given the opportunity of you could have one put that you couldn't see, or you could have one put that you could see. Now, the interesting thing is when you look at our society and the way it's changing, especially towards tattoos were usually only military or criminals had tattoos. That's the only people you saw. Mainly because the church preached Old Testament.
Leviticus.
Not
Leviticus,
to be tattooed.
yes.
Now, we've lost those teachings, and so now we see a whole society of people especially around Asheville, 6 out of 10 people I see have a tattoo.
Tattoos,
adults. So it makes me wonder. I could see them saying, yeah. In fact, my mom once met this young lady who had 666.
But have you ever heard of invisible ink?
Oh yeah.
Did you know that in the late 40s, CIA, when they found out about it, they specifically asked for invisible ink, put a gag order on it. They put scientists and people on it, and they put a gag order on them so they could not come out here and, CIA wants invisible ink. Why do you think that is?
Well, I know the CIA, they do things just...
Biblically speaking,
okay, it would be a way to allow...
I understand why a pastor would say he couldn't... he said it's not literal, but he could not see people with 666. Okay, I do agree with him in a sense. It's not going to be a 666 everyone can see. No, it's going to be the same ink that the CIA requested for, invisible ink. It's a magnetic ink.
Yeah.
A cop can have a thing put on his window while he's driving down the road and looking at his inventory. He can see upon everybody's forehead if they have that mark or not.
I can believe that.
The technology is here. The Bible is so literal. It even calls for us to bow down and worship an image of a beast that gets wounded so bad, should have died, but survived. And I believe it's going to be us in a sense that a lot of people I've talked to, I go person to person out here on these streets telling them, trying to let them know what the government wants them to do by March 23rd, 2013, so they're not blinded. Imagine when the whole country, it is in effect. There's going to be an uprising against the government, and I believe the Antichrist is going to come from our president's seat, and he is going to have to bring, just like John seen, scroll-like shapes with fire coming down from them. Them are missiles. If you were back then and you seen into the future, well, it looked like a scroll, George, or a crowbar. It looked like fire coming from that scroll too. You know what I'm saying? And I believe that in the Antichrist, how fitting would that be?
Oh, yeah.
To prove that he knows that when 144,000... Oh, did you know that NASA's saying that we have a solar flare coming our way that's going to knock out our phones and Wi-Fi? The Bible calls for one global, mass hysteria, people are flipping out because of certain things. If the internet and phones were to go out right now and TV airs, people would be flipping. Add to this the equation of 144,000 people around the globe getting raptured. God saying, and then once the TV comes back on, if anyone so chooses right now, they could type in one global government and bam, so many websites are going to be in front of them where it's letting you know the one global government's here. One global currency is going to let you know it's electronic. Now the next thing is for all of our Wi-Fi, our internet is going to go down. How NASA's calling for that. How fitting would the rapture be to happen in that, to add to more hysteria? Then people only have faith what they can see in, not faith in something they can't. Then when the power comes back on, people are then going to know we have one global government, one global money, and I know what happened. I know why people disappeared. He is going to be the Antichrist, the people that the Bible calls for. People are going to be fooled left and right. People are going to be willing to come and get the mark of the beast to buy, sell, or trade. What do you think about that, brother?
Well, I mean, now I agree with some of what you're saying, but again, some of it I disagree. I see the 120,000 as being
144,000
being the 12,000 from each tribe of the 12 tribes of Israel that are going to be sealed by the seal of God to proclaim the gospel. Now,
But can it be sealed as in like, okay, these people are going to come from this tribe, but the tribe's going to keep having babies and babies and babies, and in the end time, the babies that they had, and it says specifically, they are not defiled by woman, they are virgins. So I could believe that, yes, they might come from these tribes, but not from back then. They will keep having baby and having baby, just like they told us what tribe Jesus was going to come from.
yeah.
Way before, you got to look out. A leader's going to come from this. I believe it was Judah, right? Judah?
Yeah.
And so what you do is the 144,000, it told you what tribes they were going to come. But that was tribes back then. Babies and babies and babies have been born.
But you got to understand, the 12 tribes is still the 12 tribes. The one thing that the Jews do keep good records of is their lineage. I have my Bible, but...
Even prophecy of Jesus, when he was born, we would not be able to have his birth certificate to the village that his birth certificate was going to be born in.
well,
that was actually fulfilled. That village was burned down.
Well, the
just
village,
like-
the village in which Jesus
I just
was
thought
born
about
in
that. How
was
fitting is that?
Bethlehem.
How fitting is that, right? How fitting is that? That just hit me right now. Who else on earth cannot produce a birth certificate right now?
Good
Barack
old Obama.
Hussein Obama.
And the one
cannot.
thing, the one big thing,
I wonder why that is.
well, the one big difference between them is Jesus could actually state one thing that none of us can. He knew where he came from. You only know where you were born because other people told you.
Told,
you only
exactly.
know the date of your birth because other people told you.
Exactly.
But Jesus said, I know where he come from. And that was something that no one else did. He knew where he came. He knew his place of birth, not by being told by anyone.
Oh, brother, can we go to this video, please? I would.
Yeah, you got it?
Let's make sure there's no advertisements or anything.
All right, let's make sure we're on screen here. All right, bring this back a little bit. All right, let's go to camera 1. Okay. And there we go.
Oh, beautiful. This is it.
Okay, let me.
Now, there's going to be one store. We're going to have to cough through it because of the name of the store. Well, he says his name of the store in this video. Is that fine?
We'll see what it does. Where's your speaker at? Go ahead and hit it.
You make
Hi,
sure.
you're now with the Forerunner Chronicles.
Can you
right
hear it
now,
on TV?
in Flint, Michigan, and my friend's store over here. His store is called.
Okay, cool.
This
Take it
Store
away,
Sucks,
take it away,
This
take it away.
Sucks, Right?
Got it.
And he invited me out to this.
It's okay, brother.
It's. Thank God technology's not perfect yet.
You know, but Obama says that Americans don't have to worry about any more drop calls.
Speaking of Obama, I still gotta get his full name. I need to do the number.
His name is Barack Hussein Obama. Is
Make
Obama.
sure you write that down for me. I'm gonna do.
Well, I don't know because I ain't seen his birth certificate, so I don't know if that's his real name or not. He can't produce it. It's not letting service.
Okay. Well, technology.
Well, work on that still, brother, and see if you can get it. Can I sum up what was in that video?
Yeah.
It's this is where they had the free fair up in this guy that owns a store, his neck of the woods, and the Masons came in having a free fair, like I said earlier, free food for your kids, and we'll give you a $5 certificate if you allow us to chip your kids. You know, they have to do the retina eye scan and everything, and log in their computer. Then they chip your kid, and it has all the information in it. And he got to talking with the kid on the right-hand side of the couch earlier, and he was saying, the Mason was saying that only 50 million people should be on this earth because we do not have enough food and resources for everybody else needs to get killed. And this kid says that the Mason didn't know he was being videotaped, but when he noticed, he shut up. Now you got to think you have Masons coming in. You know every dollar in every dollar American and coin has changed except for what dollar?
Don't know which.
It's the $1 bill. Do you know why? The Masons drew the dollar bill. Every other dollar. On the back of your dollar, you can look on the left-hand side. If you were to look at the back of the dollar perfectly, turn it this way, you'll see an owl's right here. wing, body. Remember back in the day, if they was to draw you, they draw these weird things, circles going up, meaning you had wisdom.
Yeah.
There's an outward wisdom that the Masons. The pyramid, devil knew everything that was going to happen. He sent the Masons out to draw the dollar. The pyramid on the back of the eye. Pyramid has nothing to do with America, right?
No.
At all.
Yeah, that's
Period.
right. Yeah.
And it has an eye up there. Remember the eye in the sky that they have to watch us?
Yeah.
Yeah. Any luck on that, brother? It's too slow. Oh, I thought Obama says that.
Yeah, unfortunately, we don't have Wi-Fi because the county won't give us any money.
Can I read this, brother?
Yeah.
Now, this is from Obama, another quote from Obama's State of the Union. Quote, "The third step in winning the future is rebuilding America. To attract new business to our shores, we need the fastest, most reliable ways to move people, goods, and information." Hold up. So you're telling me that there's a chip that the government's that Obama's wanting in the healthcare to put in us, and he says right here, to move people, goods, and information, more reliable ways to move this. So he's treating us as mandatory. A faster way for a cop to get through the process of pulling us over or stopping us. Positive ID, the chip.
Yep.
Quick, reliable, and no more of
And
if
you
I
have
look like you, I can use your ID and hope the cop thinks that's me.
And also, well, gee, you know, right now, if you don't have ID and a cop stops you, he can throw you in jail and
He has a
until you're
legal
approved.
right to detain you. This is law. A cop has a right to detain you legally for 72 hours
Yeah.
if you do not have an ID on you. That is law. A lot of people don't even know it, but
Oh,
yes.
yeah.
Did you know Monday, what was it? Past Monday was, what President's Day was this past Monday?
This past Monday, yeah.
Did you know it was also National License Registry? Did you-
Well,
did
think
you know
about
that?
this. If you go to a store and your license is invalid, they won't sell you cigarettes.
Yeah.
They won't sell you beer.
You know why?
You could be 55 years of age, me, go into a store, and they, you know, luckily I have a valid valid ID, but they ID me.
I forget the name of it. There's this big building downtown here, and if you were to have the big building behind you and look to your right, you'll see a chrome colored box, and on the side it says RF disconnect control. Now you look up on top. Remember the old
Oh yeah, we were
antennas?
talking about, yeah.
I wonder why that is. Now you got to think that they're going to have boxes and everything. They want to know the government.
Well, this goes back to what I've been telling people about. See, a lot of things have been being told to us in a way that makes people not want to accept it, and it's been through the movies. If you remember the movies like The Matrix, if you remember movies like THX 1138, which talked about a society which was drugged, then you take what you're saying and go back to Independence Day, where he's sitting down with a computer and he's talking to the guy and he says, well, look, you know, and he shows him where all the ships are and he says, you know, it's like chess. Once you get all your pieces in order, checkmate. And see, that's what's going on now. It's getting all the pieces in order. It's the federal government giving millions of dollars to the police force.
LA County RFID, can you pull it up, please?
I mean, we're looking at the government just tons of money. We're in a continuous war. Let's see. We're on the war on drugs. We're on the war on terror, which we never won. We're in the war on terrorism, which we will never win. And now I hear we're in the war of the bed bugs. Yeah.
RFID chip.
They actually have a war started on bed bugs.
On bed bugs.
On bed bugs.
I never even knew this. War on
yeah.
bed bugs.
A war on bed bugs.
Physical bed bugs in your mattress.
And it makes you wonder, now think about this, for a country who preaches Christianity, which is supposed to be a religion of peace.
Not anymore, does it?
Okay, here Jesus came preaching peace, though he did say he came not to bring together but divide.
Yeah, he did. In the
He brought
scripture.
a sword, but the thing is, I don't think we've not been in war since 1990. At least, so for over 20 years, at least. You know, and I know the war on drugs was way before the 90s.
I believe.
So we have been in a state of war for 40, 50 years.
And he will give power to them to wage wars in the scripture.
Mhm.
And who is he talking about? He's talking about United States government.
Well, the interesting thing too is again looking at timing, because as I've told the city council and as I tell the people out there, we are already in the 3 horses. The 4th horse, which is the plagues and that, and the pestilence and the famine. Well, that's what horse? The gray horse. And if what I'm saying is the fact that the 4 horsemen are the heralds of the apocalypse, the herald of the 7 years coming in, then a big key being the fact of the establishment of the mark. So that means between now, let's see, when is the next election for the president?
The end of next year, I believe, November.
So November 2012, we will end up with a new president.
And that's crazy because look at the date of this with NASA, the sun burping and solar.
Oh, gee.
Into that.
And that would mean, now watch.
Power's going to go out.
Watch this. The smallest part of the government, which is the most powerful part of the government, used to be independent and only controlled by the president. Now it is part of Homeland Security. Secret Service. Secret Police. No, I'm sorry, not the SS. Homeland Security. It's all the same.
Oh, Homeland Security. It's for they're slipping the chips in for many different ways.
I can believe that.
To protect our borders. If everyone around had RFID chips, then guess what? They can weed out the terrorists.
Well, see,
positive ID.
The thing is, the technology is great. There's nothing wrong with technology. It's how the technology is
being used. Yes.
See, in a benign country, you don't mind something like that, but in a dictatorship, you don't. And let's say the solar flare hits, like they're saying it's going to. Well, that would mean national chaos, which would mean what? Martial law. Once martial law is established,
that's
guess
going to be
what?
military tanks on our own soil, just like Cairo.
But not only that, the only one who can turn martial law off is the President of the United States. Now, at one time prior to 9/11, it took Congress to declare martial law, and one of the group, which was FEMA. Now, since 9/11, and all this is put under Homeland Security, which again is directly under the president. See, the president shifted the way our government was formed. Our government was formed for 3, not one. Like most corporates, you look at the CEO and then you go bottom. But in our government, it was designed to where your legislative, your judicial, and your legislative, judicial, and I always forget one of them. The 3 branches were all on the same level. Well, Bush changed that. Bush changed and put
Bush changed a lot.
He put the president on top, and he put the judicial and the legislative on underneath them, which made them less powerful than the presidency. Now all he needs is the next step, a good excuse to go martial law. That means if URTV is still in existence, that means soldiers will walk in that door. They will tell Jonathan to shut this station, this public access down. They will go to every public broadcasting. They will put nanny net or even shut down the internet to this country for a period of time, just like they did with Egypt.
Okay, let's say here. If we're not able to pay our debts to China, so who do you think rules the globe right now?
Well, why do you think?
Who do you think rules the globe? If other countries outside of, a lot of people don't know.
Right now, who really rules this world is not governments. Who rules this world right now is bankers.
Well, hang on. But Germany just absorbed 60% of our stocks. Meaning, they are the ones that can say, hey, this currency isn't working, we need to switch to a new electronic one. Guess what? That means in order for you to buy, sell, or trade, you're going to have to come and get the new currency. A lot of people are already walking around that I've met here in Asheville, North Carolina, already has the one global currency in them. They brag about having an RFID chip in them. People are putting it in their kids now, so, if my kid gets kidnapped, I can look at I can't say the name of the phone or the app, but I can look at my phone and know exactly where my kid's at all times.
Yeah, there was one company that they actually had advertised first to parents, with their cell phones. Hey, we'll let you know where your kids are going. Next, it was to companies that were saying, look, give your employee a cell phone. That way you know where they're at
Do you
all day
remember
long.
the scriptures where it says that God knew everything before it was going to happen? God knows the choice. God knows where everybody is at all times on this earth. Do you believe that God has that power?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, do you now let's remember that you disagreed. Now do you know
No, I do agree.
Okay, do you know why the devil got kicked? Oh, excuse me. What was his name? Lucifer. Do you know why he got kicked out of heaven?
Well, according to the scriptures, he thought he was greater than God and he was going to create his kingdom above God's.
Okay, so he wanted to be God.
No, he didn't want to just be God. He wanted to be above God.
Yeah, well, that means the only thing above me is God. My government is not even up there in priority. God is before government to me.
Well, you got to remember,
God is before my wife. God is before you. To me, are him sitting over there.
Yeah. But you got to remember, God does establish all authorities in Romans. It speaks of all authorities established by God. Even evil ruling governments are still given that power by God.
What I want to get at, brother, is Satan got kicked out of heaven because he wanted people to bow down and praise him, the other angels. He wanted them to actually bow down and praise. God sends him down here to earth. 1/3 of the stars fell, which represents angels.
Mm-hmm.
This was before car or the word combustion. The devil aided people to make things, okay? The devil loves it when a person kills a person, okay?
Oh, yeah.
In order for us to praise him and to come to him like he's God, he has it so well knitted right now around the globe that pretty soon your money, we can take a lighter and burn it. It's not good. You're going to have to bear the mark of the beast and go to the devil just to get your food. He wants praise from you. He wants you you to come to the hospitals now and treat him like he's God. You must allow me to put a GPS device that if you choose to cut out of your kid, when you realize what's going on, it could kill your kid. He wants you to come to him now like he's God. And it's all about the radio frequencies now. The things we know it now has changed.
Yeah, just like the reason they wanted digital so bad is now with digital, you're not just getting analog signal through your wire to your cable. You're getting to where you can have 1,000 channels. You can have as many channels as that wire will be able to absorb with the electricity, the current, which means that they can have channels and in your TV set up to where they can watch you, monitor you, listen to you. Same way, is my phone on? Now this one, I ran out of minutes.
Is that Obama phone?
No, this is not the Obama
if so,
phone.
Keep it away from me.
Okay.
I don't want nothing to do with it.
Okay, but this is another phone. But they're all. You got to remember, all phone companies are still controlled by who? FCC. So whether they're, no matter what phone company you go to, they're going to lie to you because they're going to keep their license. They're not going to tell you, oh, by the way, every time you're listening to your phone, you're getting subliminals being given to you saying how good your government is. They're not going to say that because the government told them not to. And because it's not illegal to use subliminals in it.
Have you ever seen a hummingbird before in real life?
Yeah.
Well, I forewarn you right now and everybody else that if you see a hummingbird, look twice. Our military just spent like a lot of money and it's perfected a mechanical hummingbird. That way they can fly into places undetected, see and listen. So if you see a hummingbird, look at it twice. Make sure it is a real God hummingbird, not the devil trying to make God-like things just like the hummingbird.
Oh, yeah. Well, it's like when you look at our military is getting to the point that the computer skills for computer games is going to make the soldier because, you're always going to have the grunts, but when it comes to an example, our aircraft is only limited from their abilities because of the pilots, not because they can't fly them, but because they cannot take the stress that they can make these planes do. So they're showing these nice-looking, glider-looking things, reconnaissance planes, as the, quote, military remote control aircraft. What they're not showing is the military fighting aircraft that can do things that physically would kill the pilot. So it has to be flown on a remote.
Have you heard about this? I can't say the news station. There's a news station that has shown in L.A. There's people. You been to L.A.?
Not in a long while.
But you've been to LA.
I've been in LA.
When you go to LA, you enter a different world. Everybody is weird.
Yeah.
Okay.
Wait a minute, we're not weird, we're just strange.
Okay, well, work with me here for a second.
Hey.
Everybody's weird. Now, news stations and AM stations are broadcasting that people are starting to act crazy in LA in a different way. Did you know that if you get locked up in Los Angeles right now, they are putting an RFID chip right here?
I can believe that.
Can we go to the computer, please?
You got it? Yeah.
What?
Turn it around and we'll. I think we got it right there.
Because a lot of people are used to their family going to jail in Los Angeles and getting out, but they're not used to them going in, getting an RFID chip, a mark of the beast, and getting out. A lot of people know the scriptures, and when their family got this put in them, they researched it.
Well, remind me not to go back to LA.
Well, brother, you got to think. Other places are doing it. Up in, I believe it's Ohio, a few years ago, 44,000 prisoners. They're putting a wrist thing around them that has the GPS in it. It also will notify if they try to take it off. It will shock them with over 1,000 volts. If a convict knocks another convict down, in real time, the CO will be notified.
All right, keep talking. I gotta let the final credits go through, but we can still talk.
Is it about over already?
Yeah, we got about 3 minutes left. So we'll let them see a little bit of the graphics.
So we've touched the base. I could if for anybody, if they choose to check it out, all they have to do is HR 3200 space RFID. It's going to bring you right to your healthcare bill where it states the government wants, your big brother wants to know where you're at all the time. Stillvault.com is what the company that the chip bought out. And it has to do with financial records.
I can believe that.
Page 1000. It starts of the HR 3200 bill.
Okay.
And if anyone choose to check it out, people are getting chipped all over. Even Israel's chipped, and at the top of their license plate, it now says 666. Israel, God's quote-unquote, from the scriptures, chosen people, is already chipped with the mark of the beast, 666 on the tag. The Antichrist, the second coming of Christ, the Antichrist and the second coming of Christ is ironic. It's in our lifetime. And I believe that the Antichrist is the higher powers in our government that's going to bring the fire from the sky.
Well, thank you for coming in and talking to us. Like I said,
Thank you.
A lot of what you said is confirmations of what I've been saying, so thank you.